My neighbor runs a hemp farm.
Oh, really?
In Maine for both recreation and no, no, for both recreation and medicinal purposes.
So my understanding when I was looking at some of this stuff that it sounds like the problem they're running into is refining capacity, like manufacturing capacity.
Jason, take us in, and then we're ready to go whenever you want, A-Rock.
Alright, you guys ready?
Yep.
Going live in. Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, folks. Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network, with Robert Orfino.
Good morning.
Part of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. And
Good evening, actually.
today we're going to talk about consistency.
Being disciplined. Yep.
This is where I think consistency is the difference between, makes the difference between the amateurs and the pros. And I'll give you I was listening to some guys this morning on the way in, and one of my favorite quotes is, or from this, and I'll paraphrase here, but this particular guy said, look, I can tell what your beliefs are by the results that you're getting. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. I can tell what your beliefs are by the results that you're getting. And how often are our results just a lack of consistency?
Yep. And then, I'll also go a little further. And when I think about that consistency, that discipline really breaks down that whole life work balance thing, because it is hard to be consistent for three areas of an individual, right? It's going to be your business, it's going to be your health, and it's going to be your relationship. And I don't think anyone can do all three at once.
Yeah, it's not. Well, you'll have. Well, it's like you can't. Well, most guys don't work out every day, right?
Yep.
So I think that's let's say over a 30-day period. I think there can be. It depends on the temporal nature of that time period,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Can I do all three every single day? No, I don't think
No,
that's
it's
practical. But can I do that over a 30-day period? Can I do it over a week-long period? I think that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. No, I know that our efforts have been focused on growing all our businesses this year, and for sure other things have slipped, right? But it's the discipline of coming every day and hitting it. And I'm a believer of, hey, I can do two things at a time. Those are the two. I can work on two things at a time. So one is always going to suffer. But having that discipline, and this year has been straight up, it is the business. It is growing these things out. It is setting up these smaller businesses that feed the entire supply chain for us, and having controls all along the acquisition stage is really critical for us. So being consistent it's where it's at. I mean, AC was here last week, and he'll be in here tomorrow. And he was talking about just getting on the phone and consistently dialing for dollars, or sending out the emails, or following up. We have no shortage of people that want to work with us. We just don't have the bandwidth to be able to convert all of them, right? And that's consistency. We're not able to set up some of these things, and so that's going into year 2. We're really going to set up those systems to be very consistent, to have a flow chart of people in, money in, properties in, property listed, tenants in, working on all that stuff. And we had a great first year, but man, there's loose ends everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Because of the lack of consistency in some of our models. So again, we freely share this stuff with you guys. We're not perfect. We are striving for perfection, But it is difficult for us, and it's difficult for you. So we recognize that. So,
Well, I get the. I'll tell you, it's when you're first starting out, you just have to be consistent in small things. I think when it starts to get rolling, it gets.
and
really
that's a
big.
great point you just said, right?
You just got to be consistent in small things, making offers every day.
Yep.
You know, we have a 12-step process before you can start making offers, right? So we consistently knocking down those things in that 12-step process. Once you get to, oh, okay, I'm signed up, ready to go.
Yeah,
okay,
for our mastermind. Yep.
Yeah. Or did we complete those 12 steps?
We got all those little things done, so we can start doing the big things.
That's right. And where I think a lot of real estate investors falter is they will be consistent in some areas that they like and inconsistent in areas they don't like. But the reality is, in order for you to be successful, you've got to be consistent. You must be consistent in certain areas. And one of those is in marketing and sales, making offers. The other one's consistently closing deals. I just got a deal this morning, 8-unit apartment complex. Numbers look okay. Closed by December 31st. And I'm like, not gonna happen.
Right.
Not gonna. Oh well, now this is the time of year when I'm looking at deals, and it's like double time on deals because everyone needs to close by the end of the year because they weren't consistent earlier in the year, earlier in the quarter.
Yep.
So now I'm getting a lot of, hey, we're 2 weeks out. I think we're close to 2 weeks, aren't we? Are we just under 2
We're
weeks?
over 2 weeks.
Let me see here.
Today's the 17th.
Today's the 18th. Yeah. So
18th.
yesterday we were 2 weeks out from the end of the year.
Yeah.
So the amount of people that are contacting me with getting, hey, can we get deals
Seeing
closed?
them all over the place.
And I'm like, dude, I don't even know when the title company's open next week. I'm sure they're closed Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and I bet the day after Christmas. Or you think they're just closed? When are banks closed? 24th and 25th?
No, they'll be open usually half day on on Christmas Eve, half day on New Year's Eve. But they're definitely done the 25th, and they're definitely out the 1st.
Yeah. So, I mean, you essentially got one and a half, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5 days, 5.5 business days
This month, yep.
this month. So, plus your lending institutions. I mean, are those guys even in the office?
That's become a bigger issue. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3 we're trying to close before the end of the month,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a matter of are the underwriters.
Yeah, the underwriters even here.
It was told to me by a lender last year that the reality is come today or come Friday, the loan business shuts down.
Mm.
Those underwriters just aren't looking to put anything else on the books this year.
Yeah.
Because there is cleanup that they have to do before they start the new year.
Mm.
So and then a lot of, some of these businesses just shut down, right? From Christmas to New Year's.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of that too. So, we've got to close. There's one must close.
Mm.
There's one must close, one we'd like to close, and one we're pretty sure that's not going to be a problem because it's a private lender,
Oh, okay.
right? So that's what we're struggling with internally. Get some of these things done, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 refis that we're trying to get done by the first year as well. And we finally found an adult fund.
Oh, because everybody says they have a fund, they own a fund, they run a fund, they know a guy's got a fund.
All right, we found an
But
adult
we can never
fund.
find the guy who actually makes the decision.
Right.
Or a fund that actually operates like a real fund.
Right. So we finally found one that I think these 5 or 6 refis will go through pretty smoothly.
Okay.
Pretty smoothly. So again, it's about discipline. We got the holidays coming up. It's so easy to just want to take a day off here or there. You want to slack and half days and got to run out and all that other stuff.
Or take like the whole week off
Oh,
next week.
well, yeah, I'd love to take next week off, but we got the radio and we got the other stuff. But yeah, it is absolutely, and we're going to talk more about this when we come back, it is absolutely critical to stay on task. If you're going to shut down, right? But understand what you're losing here in this last week.
You're losing a lot.
Right, because what will typically happen, and we'll come back and talk about some break, is there's a reality is you won't be able to close by the 1st.
Right, but that doesn't mean you can't contract.
You can't contract that
Yeah.
deal, right. This is Robert Jason, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back. Hey, good morning, everyone out there on Facebook and YouTube. We are recording our radio show a little bit early. A lot earlier.
Yeah.
We are finding that our day is being consumed with the radio show because we're starting a little bit later. So we're starting a little bit earlier, which will allow us to take a little more meetings, allow me to go on the road and check some more projects, allow me to get down to Corpus. I haven't been down there in about 3 weeks. So this is hopefully our new routine, our new consistent airtime. 7:30 in the morning, we're going to roll here into the studio and get going, and then we'll be with you all the way through your morning prep, your morning commute. So, good morning there.
Good morning, James.
I can't read that. That's how blind I am.
Well, it's
I know
it's
last
like
one's
easy cursive.
I
you got
said,
there.
oh, I like that. I can see it says Vaughn. I didn't know what one it was. So, just cue us in when we're ready to go, Alex. Don't wait for us.
All right. Going live. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're members of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team, and today we're talking about consistency and discipline. So today is December the 17th. Oh, geez, my watch is still off because I left it here from Vegas. It's the 18th, isn't it? Yeah. So we are at the last 2 weeks here of December,
Mm-hmm.
and we get a lot of people that take. It is not uncommon for me to run into real estate investors that take like Thanksgiving to MLK off. Or no, President's Day, I'm sorry. MLK is in February. President's Day is in
Good
January.
for them.
And I'm like, hey, that's great, but you're missing out on some massive opportunities.
Right.
Every year, starting with Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
sometimes the week before Thanksgiving, until President's Day,
Mhm.
is literally, we will buy more houses than any other time period throughout the year.
I agree, and we're seeing them, and I just introduced one of our agents to like the wholesale Facebook groups
Oh, yeah?
where deals go to die,
Yeah.
and if you're posting on Facebook or Craigslist, your deal's dead, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, go through here and just warm these all up, see if they're willing to go recontract or negotiate that thing down. And there were so many,
Oh, yeah.
so many.
There's, I hear from guys from time to time, they're like, yeah, I buy stuff off Facebook all the time. I'm like, really? Because I don't really see it. I don't see a whole lot going on there on Facebook. Now, I do get people who message me privately, and we've bought deals that way. But
Yeah,
when
for
something
sure.
gets posted publicly, it turns into this feeding frenzy of broke people.
Yeah, but she needs to make those connections with those people. That's
Right, yeah, that's true.
Broke people. Yeah,
Mhm.
seen that. But the consistency is critical for us. We're consistently honest and
Mhm.
open. I think people would agree with that. We don't mind calling out the farce when we see it.
Mhm.
We're consistently growing. We're putting more and more systems in place. We have our person that does the construction walkthrough, which not only then gives a bid to the client, but it now will also produce a bid for the subcontractors.
Mhm.
Builds the entire scope right there, which is so critical for us to make that more streamlined. But again, just be consistent. So one person goes out there, takes care of 3 things that need to happen, and that consistency, that discipline, is the basis for systems.
Mhm.
And it's systems that are going to streamline and create profitability in your business.
I think people get too fixated on, well, I got to have systems and processes first. And I'm like, no, you need to generate leads.
You got to go, yeah.
Yeah, you got to go. I had a friend of mine that said years ago, he said, leads fix everything. That a whole lot of leads fix everything. And you don't really understand how and I don't care if you buy one of these businesses in a box or you buy into a franchise system. At the end of the day, you really don't know how that business operates and how you will operate in that business until you start getting some leads from your marketing and you start closing some deals. Everyone has this, it's that classic Mike Tyson quote, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Amen to that, right?
You know, it's not until you get that first property under contract, you start writing some checks, earnest money, option, inspection, surveys, appraisals. You close that deal. You're sitting there at the closing table. You're all nervous. If you were like me, you were one of these Dave Ramsey guys, and you're signing up for another $80,000 in debt.
Mm-hmm.
You're all nervous. And then you sign that piece of paper. Is this gonna work? I don't know. You feel like you're the only one in the world that's, you know, a real estate investor, and now all of a sudden you own this thing. You got to manage a rehab, and
Right, your numbers are all wrong. You know,
Yeah.
Oh no, second guessing and doubting everything you
Yeah.
do. But it's really important to get through that, right? And so that's why we're saying, forget all the T's and the I's that need to be crossed and dotted. Just go out there and get a deal.
Right.
Right? Go out there and get a JV done. Go out there and just get something done. And out of that, you'll build your systems.
Right.
I mean, you just don't know how to cook the hamburger before you cook the hamburger, right?
Right.
So you don't know how the range of the stove, you don't know where the grill is hotter and colder. You can't write the operation manual until you actually start cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people compensate for their worry and their fear by building elaborate systems that they never use.
Yeah. Well, and the elaborate system is, it's again, I was listening.
We're buying
to
someone
stuff
else's.
this morning. Yeah, this morning was fascinating, listening on the way here to the office, and one of the things that I was listening to a little Jocko Willink, if you guys know who he is. He's the Navy SEAL that, you know, is real famous right now. He's got a podcast. He's just an interesting guy. He wrote the book Extreme Ownership. So he was talking about how humans will make things inordinately complex to justify some of their decisions.
Yeah.
And in particular, he's talking about their bad decisions. So we'll make things incredibly complex to justify our bad decisions.
Of course, yeah.
And this time of year, this is my favorite analogy. It's you know, I'm going to lose weight. Okay, great. So what do we got to do? We're gonna spend hours and hours researching what it is you need to eat and how to work out.
Right.
And you know, I see this with guys who are getting back on the bike. They have all these, oh, I need this and I need that. I'm like, no, you just need to get off your butt.
New gear.
And you just got to pedal. That's all you need to do right now. For a lot of people out there, you just need to get off your butt. At the time, you're supposed to be out there and just walk.
Listen, I'll tell you that, you know, I'm just coming off the heaviest I've ever been in my life. And it's really simple for me. For the first 30 pounds that I could lose, it's really simple. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more water.
Yeah.
Salad for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And no carbs for breakfast.
Simple.
Really simple.
Really simple.
But man, the consistency and the ability to do that day in and day out, for me, becomes a challenge because I think that I'm focused on some other things. And I don't put that up as an excuse. It's just I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there was a good guy in our group, and he's like, Robert, do you want me to tell you how to lose weight? I'm like, nope. He's like, no,
we got some animals in our group.
It's really, really simple. No, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I know.
No, I could do this. I'll tell you like 2 minutes. Listen, dude, you can tell me, and then it's just going to make me feel more guilty.
Yeah.
Because I already know what to do. I'm aware. I at the very least, I recognize the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Still not ready to take that next step because because I'm working till 11 o'clock at night and I'm throwing down some cashews in my mouth and I'm not drinking any water and I wake up at 3:30 and I can't open my eyes because I'm so dry and dehydrated. But that's the stuff. It's usually, like you said, just be disciplined with the small stuff. Mm-hmm. Just drink that half gallon of water every day, right? And we don't have a refrigerator that puts cold water in a cup here is a deterrent for me. Mm-hmm. But it's also I can just pour the water and drink it really fast. So, doing those little things will make a huge, huge change in my physique. Mm-hmm. And I know it. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with business. If you just consistently call 25 people every day to sell a house or make an offer, you will get deals.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, the joke we said yesterday is people like cold calling doesn't work. And, you know, AC does 4,000 a month. You do 10 and then you quit, right? He's consistently doing $4,000 a month. That's why he's winning. He's got that discipline. He has a consistency there, and it's working for him. Hey, this is Robert Jason. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Thanks for joining us tonight. We will be back.
Yeah. Oh, I think we got our beer sponsor.
Did Sean say?
I talked to him last night.
Yeah.
So, guys, looks like we might have a beer sponsor.
What did he say?
He said, I'll talk to the guy. But he said, that's pretty cheap marketing.
It's a couple $100 in free beer.
Yeah, he goes, so how much beer? He goes, like a case a month? I'm like, yeah, probably a case a month.
Bring the brews, yeah.
Yeah.
Let us test them. And I'm not a beer drinker.
So
We're working on the ice cream company. That's the big
yeah,
one.
there you go. So case a month, and he said, put the logo on the bar behind you guys. I said, yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
So I had lunch with Dean. He's like, that bar is beautiful. Where are you guys shooting at? I was like,
That's great.
he said, it's a picture. He goes, are you kidding me? It looks phenomenal.
Nice. Does he think we're on Mars too?
He said he has it open like on his iPad and he's doing stuff on his.
Cool. Well, we
He's doing
appreciate
stuff in
Dean.
the office.
He's a big supporter of us.
We were joking yesterday, our little lunch. He said, we need to do this. This will be Jason and Dean's annual Christmas lunch. I said, yeah, we need to do that.
Nice.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. This is Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Jason Bible, Robert Orfino with the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. We're talking about consistency and discipline today because it's coming up that time of year. New Year's resolutions.
Actually, we were just talking about our friend. I won't mention his name.
Yeah.
Only on the air. But I think I saw him, and he looked like a cross between, like he definitely is a fashion guy, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he had this jacket on, and I was enamored by it. I just kept staring at it. And it was like a cross between, like, total model Fashion Week, New York City, pimp, Jewish grandmother. And every time you mention his name, I immediately put him in that jacket.
What color's the jacket?
I think it was like a dark maroon or red leather.
Okay.
And every time I see him in that.
Oh, yeah.
And then that leads me to the thought of our buddy over at Patent Title wearing the feathered jacket.
What feather jacket are you talking
We
about?
went to brunch or breakfast one morning with the marketing guy over there and Lisa, and he had a jacket on that looked like it was part of a bird outfit.
Oh. I remember the breakfast lunch thing, but I don't remember the jacket.
It was feathered, and so every time you mention him, I immediately go there, and then my brain takes me over to there,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, I need something crazy to wear. I'm clearly out of it here. So anyway, I'm sorry to break up.
No, that's all right. You know, my thing is sometimes I do the real subtle stuff, like my jackets and stuff, and then sometimes it's just, the louder the better, right?
Yeah. I just looked at that. Both those coats, I was just like, look at this.
Yeah.
Huh. That works. And it worked for both of them. I was like, geez, look at these guys.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Just observations. Sorry. We're talking about discipline, which
We don't have any.
we're not having a discipline thing on target here. But, I will say that, there's the... I know it from the EPA, and I think NASA does that improvement circle, right? It's like plan it, do it, observe it, implement, make changes, plan the changes, implement the changes, observe it. Just that constant little feedback, right? And I think when it comes to business, I think that is a sort of critical discipline. We don't, like in our mastermind, we have a husband and wife that didn't do the deal. But then another mastermind person jumped right in and said, I want the deal. Right? And so I said, hey, why don't we come in and debrief?
Yeah.
And just sort of understand why you guys didn't go for it. And let me explain what he saw that you didn't see. And then maybe that'll help you on the next one, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people do that.
Yeah, they call it a double loop learning process.
It's improvement cycle or whatever, yeah.
And we did that, my former employer, we did that we had all these metrics. You have the goals, you've got the metrics, you're tracking
Yep.
every little thing. Then you're going back and improving processes and that sort of thing. And yeah, you've got to sit down and debrief and say, why did we not do this deal? Or why did we? Why did we lose money? Or why was the return not as high as we thought it would be? That sort of thing. So you can recognize those issues early on and make better choices.
And I think that's our strive here, our goal for 2020 is to have that sort of system set up for the multiple steps of acquisition. And it starts with just where are we, right? You can't move forward unless you know where you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to lay everything out. So we're doing that right now with the acquisitions, and we're doing that with the loans that we're having to get and the money we have to raise, and we'll do that with the construction. Where are we at, right? And then, okay, what's the next step? And so on our construction team, we're now looking and laying out change orders,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're going to have every one of our subcontractors sign an agreement that says change orders are not billed by the job, but billed by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want you to come in and paint this wall, then you tell me how many hours. You got to do 2 coats. It's 2 hours, 3 hours. Okay,
Yeah.
I pay $40 an hour for a general trade,
Mm-hmm.
and I pay $75 an hour for professional, plumber, electrician, HVAC, and that's new.
Yeah.
But I got a change order bill for like $2,800, and I'm like, I have some problems here.
Yeah.
Like, did it really take
Yeah, do we do the foundation?
12 hours to paint the porch,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, no. Okay, well, what's fair, right? And so moving forward, that stuff will be defined, and that is part of that improvement cycle, right? But now we have to be disciplined to stick to it. Once you implement a system, now the real discipline and the consistency is desperately needed, is to stick with it.
Yeah, where you see this fall apart all the time is children.
Yes!
Like, a lot of people don't get this. Is a significant portion of behavioral problems are from a lack of consistency.
Yes.
So when you're not implementing, hey, when this happens, then this discipline occurs.
Right.
Then this result occurs.
Right.
When there's inconsistency there is when you run into behavioral issues.
Which is a big problem. I mean, kids need to know you can have anything you want, you just have to pay for it.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with our crews. With the construction guys, it's like the invoices are in by 12 noon on Wednesday. You'll get paid by 4 o'clock on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
If they're in at 2, don't ask me for the check at 4 on Friday.
Right.
We just have to be really consistent. We bend a lot because we don't have a big enough workforce to pull from, but that's changing too. It's like, hey, I'm done with the job. I'm going to submit the invoice. When do you think I can get paid? And it's like, the invoice is in by noon on Wednesday. You'll be paid by 4 on Friday.
Yeah.
Right? Like children know.
Yeah.
4 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. Oh, I totally forgot. Great.
Right, see you next week.
I will forget to pay you on Friday, right? So you have to be consistent, and it's also training people by just one day just saying, no, I'm not paying you, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this over and over, right? So I think it's everywhere, and I think it's up to you, the investor, you, the entrepreneur, you, the business owner, to just be disciplined about it. Now, I'm not saying that we don't take into account other things that are happening, but for sure, you have to be able to follow your own guidelines, and that's really critical when you put those systems in. So, first, like we're saying, first year, be consistent by making offers, doing marketing, getting it all going. Consistent action, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then year 2, it's going to be consistently follow the systems, and then year 3, it's going to be managing the managers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that consistency is the difference between amateurs and professionals.
Yep.
And I'll hear this too when someone says something crazy like, follow your passion. What's your passion? And I always say, here's the problem with the whole passion thing. A, it has nothing to do with consistency. But B, passion is a result of action. So as you become more action-oriented, you will then develop that passion, right? And here's what's really important. This is for people who get into real estate, and they'll say things like, well, I really have a passion for real estate. Well, have you done it yet? Well, no, but I really like, designing stuff, or whatever they think real estate is.
Oh, yeah. That's always fun.
And I'm like, well, you realize that's not what real estate is. But you don't know that because you're not producing enough consistent action to realize that's what real estate really is.
Well, we can talk a whole hour on that. Anyway, guys, if you are looking to be a part of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team, work with us, part of our mastermind, come to our events. We've got a website up now, and it's MRTXRE. That stands for Mr. Texas Real Estate, MRTXRE.com. Or you can go ahead and text us at 281-401-9008. Hey, we'll be back. Yeah, I am the soul crusher when it comes to I really want to do some design. I'm like, nope, none of that.
This is not for you.
Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get, really in a house, you get to design two things. I'll give you the kitchen backsplash and the fireplace.
Oh, perfect.
I'll give you those two things.
Well, that's it.
But the walls are gray and the trim is bright white. So everything else is going to be done. Those two things, knock yourself out.
Yeah. It would almost be impossible to go wrong if you went into a house now and just did it with just randomly picked materials that were all white.
Yep. Off-white.
Off-white, white.
Absolutely.
It would be really hard to screw that up.
It's pretty hard to screw it up, yep.
All right, what do you want to do next here? Pull up the old YouTubes here.
There, do this. Here you go.
Oh, that's trends?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
Trump impeachment is trending super high.
Whatever.
Christmas is 12th.
That's funny.
Trump has the top 10 spots. Hey guys, you're watching on Facebook, watching on YouTube, watching on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for watching. We're recording a radio show. We do this in 9-minute segments, and we're going to keep running here for about another hour or so, trying to get them all put in. We're bringing out some other influencers. Oh, let's talk about our events and the influencers and all this stuff, right? This in the next segment. Just hang out and watch. We're going to do this as soon as Alejandro brings us in.
Yeah, you weren't kidding. It's like Trump took over like at least a good 20 spots on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's a master in the news cycle.
No, he sure is, huh?
He's an absolute master.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, we're going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Good evening. This is Robert here with Jason. We're part of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. And this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. So, Jason, we have our influencer coming in tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be recording some podcasts, recording the radio show. He's bringing in 4 of his most successful students.
Ooh, today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Tomorrow. Did you get my text, Alejandro?
Yes, sir.
So he'll be in tomorrow. Then we have our other influencer, which hopefully will be starting next week. We can get him on pretty quickly. Get a little LOI going and wrap him up on Monday.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, the guy we met with lunch, do we want to bring him on or?
Yeah, we will at some point,
Some point, okay. So we really have, we're trying to get someone from the retail real estate side in, which will really leave us 2 spots. And we don't mind filling up those spots, but again, real estate radio is pretty darn boring, right?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I know. I went, and I got to tell you, all props to Sean Terry, because I devoured his podcast. I listened to 100 episodes from like November of 2013 till March. Just every chance I got, I just listened to it. And if you think the general real estate information is boring, how about wholesaling?
Yes.
How
many times can you talk about assignment contracts?
Right. But he made it interesting by just sort of just laying himself out there. And so, I'm a big believer in that. That's kind of what we've been doing. But we think if we get some interesting people, some retail folks, some wholesalers, some attorneys, and kind of all get them in the mix and have them doing each other's show, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that's a little more interesting than...
Right? And the same thing over and over. And I think, the other guy who was on the air did it 6-7 years on the radio, and he's on like different stations, and it's like the same.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
When you really get down to it, they're all infomercials. That's really what they are.
course.
They're infomercials
Yeah,
for their program.
Absolutely. And ours, if you buy one pan, you get the second pan free.
There you go.
The copper pan. It's good. It is good. The problem is it heats too evenly.
Oh, okay.
It takes forever to get the bacon crisp in that copper pan. That was my one fault with it. But omelets are perfect. Everything else, vegetables, it's absolutely perfect. But the bacon takes forever, so I had to go back to a cast iron pan.
I'm a huge fan of cooking in cast iron.
I am too, but we burnt something on something.
You got to reseason it.
Yeah, something happened. We just carbonized something on there, and it became really hard. And I was just like, I guess a wire brush.
Yeah.
And then so she said no, and so she's using oven cleaner on it. Then she just lets it soak with oxidation, and then blah blah blah, and then finally she goes in and reseasons the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we should have just cooked right over that. I don't think that would have been a real problem, but. There's nothing better than bacon in a cast iron pan.
Yeah. And
there's nothing better than onions and mushrooms in bacon grease. To me,
that's a good idea.
That is one we take whatever's left over. I throw onions and bacon in. I cook it down and I save it for the day. And we do a lot of cooking. But we have some influencers coming in. We're just trying to make it a little interesting. So I think we're going to be really excited. Also, on this, the next person, if everything works out, we'll also send a little shock to our community.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to working with him. And then we have a bunch of events. Now you have a brand new event you're doing, and you're going to do this about 10 months out of the year. And the first one will be the biggest, but we only have 40 seats in that room.
Yes. And
we're almost halfway sold out. So
that's in between Christmas and New Year's.
It's the Friday and Saturday between the holidays. Yes. Which I didn't think would be. Everyone tells you it's not a time to do an event, but we've already sold about 20 tickets.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think we'll get the rooms that are probably 70 max. It gets a little unruly when you're trying to teach math and economics.
I did it. Our biggest event we ever did at Right Path was like 120, 130.
Right.
And I started doing math and economics, and it was just it was brutal. So even simple math, it's just, and it's not that people aren't smart, they're just not paying attention.
Right, there's just too many distractions, too many other people to watch, and too many candies opening, and coughing, and shifting, and all that other stuff, and thinking about lunch and making coffee. But so I think we'll consistently do it in a 50-person space because we will repeat it. But this is called Real Estate Foundation for the Modern Real Estate Investor. Love it.
Yeah, Foundations for the...
Foundations.
Yeah, Foundations. Real Estate 101 for the Modern Real Estate Investor.
I see like this whole big hotel room, all with these little, the egg chairs hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And everyone's sort of just kind of hanging there and watching you and a hologram of you doing it.
Yeah, there you go. That's funny. But it's essentially all the stuff I've learned over the last 6 years, and then especially the things that we've learned in the last 12 months
Yeah.
that have given us a enormous competitive advantage over folks in our marketplace. I mean, we're doing really well, and we're going to share with folks how we're doing that.
Yeah, and it's surprising. It kind of goes back to the last topic we were talking about, the discipline,
Mm-hmm.
right? The consistently making offers and the ability to close on those offers come hell or high water, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing. And so you'll be teaching that to it's almost a 2-dayer, right? We don't want to cram you all up. I think we're going to go ahead and announce the VIP because we have enough signups at this point.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do a VIP dinner on Friday night.
Yeah, that'll work.
We can add that to it if people
Okay.
want to come out and hang out with us. And I don't know what's over in that area. Oh, there's a good little barbecue place right there. Nice little. We probably got a private table up top. And that's again, people. I love that VIP dinner format. The first time I did it was with Ron LeGrand. I had a VIP dinner with Ron LeGrand.
Oh, I bet that was
and I
entertaining.
made sure I sat right across from him.
Mm.
And boy, does he have a lot of opinions.
Oh, he does.
But it was good, right? Because just sort of understanding, where he was at, and that even Ron LeGrand has problems with property managers,
Yes.
right? Which is why he does it the way he does it. He doesn't want any property manager involved, right? He's almost designed the system because he can't stand property managers. Like the big takeaway from that event was don't use property managers,
Right.
right? And if you have to, then go buy a big 500 unit building and get on-site people.
Yeah.
So you can, and then from that motivation, thinking, oh my God, how many times did this guy
Get burned on something, right?
taken over by a property manager? Which now you understand why he does these leaps options and he lets the tenant take care of it. So
I always think it's funny when guys like that are bad at a business model that they just throw the business model out instead of just getting good at it. How many real estate investors in this space are like, why do owner finance? Because I didn't like tenants. And I'm
Right.
like, well, maybe you were just a bad manager.
Yes. How many pools of bathwater and babies are lying outside of people's windows, right?
Right. Yeah.
Just throw it out, forget it.
Well, I'm really bad at single family real estate because it's too competitive. This is what you hear. It's too competitive in single family real estate, which really means I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting into commercial, which I think is a lot more competitive.
And that we'll talk about that the next segment because that really drives home a point. But again, guys, this is Robert and Jason, part of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. If you are buying or selling or listing or leasing, you need some help with real estate, give us a call. We have our agents available. 281-401-9008. Just text us, and we'll make sure that we get someone to talk to you about buying, selling, or leasing one of your properties. Hey, we'll be back. Yeah, we'll talk about that shifting
Okay.
because you.
Yeah, what did we call this last segment? Oh, just events and stuff?
Yeah, we're just talking about events.
Okay, so A-Rock, let's call this one shifting.
I made AC do one by himself, and he was like, "Man, that went fast." I'm like, "We're telling you,
Telling you, it goes quick,
it was
man.
really quick."
Especially from a guy that speaks from stage. I mean,
Yeah, he just rolls.
in 9 minutes is fast.
Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
You take us in, Jason.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Here, my business partner, Robert Orfino. We are part of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. And today we're going to talk about shifting.
Yeah.
So I made the comment in the previous segment that I see people shift because they think they're making a smart business decision. I think it's because they're bad at executing the model.
Yeah.
So the one I'm seeing a lot right now is, single family, this is exactly what you'll hear. Single family real estate is, quote, overpriced or over competitive.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many competitors.
Therefore,
I'm going to commercial real estate.
right. Which is a completely different bear.
It's a completely different animal. In fact, I would argue that it's as competitive, and your competitors are much more sophisticated.
It's like saying, hey, this pond here is there's too many people fishing for catfish.
Yeah.
So you know where I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go down to Baja and do some shark fishing.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Because it's easier down there.
It's easier because there's not that. It's easier because there are fewer people in Baja fishing for shark.
Right.
Right. I got it.
That's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Not understanding that it's a completely different animal, different techniques, different equipment. You know that, and we got our butt kicked by it this year when when we were not offered 25-year amortization on some of these apartments, and it was it's your first time out, guys. You're going to get 20-year.
Yeah.
And that just destroys the numbers, right? Yep. So for us, we have these modules, these businesses, these whatever you want to call them, that are fixed to do something. And then for us, then we can have more. We can, instead of just grinding down pork, we can add in a little venison, and we can add in a little other stuff to make a different type of sausage. But we have the machine is set up.
Right.
The power supply is there. If you're just shifting for the sake of shifting, that's dangerous because it's 3 years, guys. It's 3 years to get good at these things. And commercial real estate, that's a career, right?
Yeah.
That is I'm not going over to get rich because I'm going to do one strip mall. You've got to do thousands and thousands and thousands of square feet to even start making an impact, right? You've got to spend time chasing every tail. Every tail that comes across, right? And I feel bad for our buddy. Looked at that $15 million deal. I'm not sure we're going to do it. He put time in. Now he's on the next. I'm sure he's looking at some other deal for someone. Yeah. And it's how many of these things how many lines you have to put in the pond before you get a hit in that commercial space. And it is, I think, much, much more aggressive in the commercial world, mostly because you have very, very large REITs and corporations that can sit on stuff without making a profit.
Right.
So you have people, you go from a world where you're looking for motivated sellers to a world where there are many, many unmotivated sellers.
Yeah, with very few exceptions, I don't see, unless they need to sell an asset because they're getting into another asset.
That's
or
right. Why would you sell
a
tower? Why would you sell a performing asset?
Yeah. Well, the two towers we keep looking at, and I get a message from the guy every now and then. It's the only reason they're selling those towers is because they have another opportunity,
something else, right? Yeah. Didn't know they'd been in it this long. They got to get the money out. And they got to go do something else, right? And it's weighing on them. But or you get into this world where you just retrade.
Right.
Just that sort of retrading.
Churn.
The churn. I'm going to make money on the transaction, and our investors will just sit by and happily make their appreciation, right? Until the commercial world tanks, and then that draws a problem too. And commercial real estate in my mind, has a bigger trend of tanking versus residential.
Yes.
Certainly now with the retail space and things like that, there's some challenges out there. So heading off into that world because you're having trouble finding 1s and 2s and 3s and 4 units, probably not the smartest shift to make.
And I don't buy that there's not any deal. It starts with the premise that, there's a lack of opportunity.
Yeah.
And I don't buy that at all.
No, not in this market.
No, this market's absolutely insane. If you can't find, quote, deals in Houston, either A, you don't know what a deal is.
Yep.
Or B, you're just not working hard.
Sure. There is not enough apartments to flip in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. There's not enough houses to flip in Beverly Hills.
No. Yeah, I agree with that.
All along the Hollywood Hills, it's tough.
Yeah.
Not a lot, right? It's been picked over. But Stafford?
Yeah, there's plenty of property there.
Pearland?
Plenty. Plenty of stuff. I got asked the other day, Jason, when are you going to start buying property in San Antonio? I said, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff between here and San Antonio. I don't really feel the need to go there yet.
No, I don't want to go there. I'm not knocking San Antonio, but that market is not Houston.
No,
not at all. And the exodus has already happened out of Dallas, right?
Yeah.
So, no, we don't want Dallas. We don't want Austin. Those are retail markets, and we don't want San Antonio. That's a lower end market.
Yeah.
It really is. Houston is it. And then if you're looking for up and coming markets, it's Corpus or you go out to Beaumont.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. You don't want to go out to. There's no need to go up to Waco, other than you want to be. You think you want to be on TV. Not really.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't want to go to West Texas, and there's no need to go up to the Midland because you're dealing with temporary housing and all that nonsense, and that's been picked over too. No, it's Houston, Corpus, and Beaumont.
Yeah.
And everything in between of those three.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing. People run off to different markets.
Yeah, that's your other shift, right? Oh, I'm going to. Oh, I heard this weekend. Where was I sitting? I was sitting down with somebody and said, "Well, I'm in Ohio and Indiana and somewhere else," and I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Why? What's so special?" Well, because of the price of real estate. And I said, "You realize the price of real estate is local. It has nothing to do with the fact that you live in Chicago."
Right. And that's an excellent point to make out. If you're, where would you flip in California? You would flip in San Bernardino County.
Yes.
Right? In San Bernardino County, the single family house, I don't know, I'm going to guess is probably $350 is the median right now.
I do San Diego County if I can get in there.
San Diego's going to be $1 million price tag, right? So on San Bernardino, you're going to find bread and butter stuff. You'll find those 3.2s, 1,200, 1,400 square feet. They're all built post-war. They're all right there for you, right? But you still have a $340,000 house. But the profit and the all the stuff that you got to do is the same as Indianapolis, except Indianapolis, it's an $80,000 house.
That's right.
At the end of the day, you're still going to wind up making $25,000.
Yeah. Folks don't seem to understand. They look at these houses in California and they think, oh, they're these big, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm like, no, they're not. It's the same crappy dump as in Indiana. It's got a higher price point.
I had a conversation with a flipper out there. I had like 3 or 4 flippers I've talked to in California in the last week. And one of them said, hey man, I got hurt with these $1 million homes. I went out to Thousand Oaks and I started buying $1 million property. I'd buy it for $980. I'd put 60 in, 70 in, and I'd try and sell it for 1.3.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I told them in the beginning, there's no margin there.
Yeah, there's no margin.
They're going to take 130 right off the top. Now you're at 1170, and you're in at 10. There's 150. In one little shift, you're dead. Or if you got to carry that thing for more than 6 months, you're dead. So he got hurt on a lot of that stuff because the margin wasn't there. But if you can get a 25% margin in Indianapolis, then go for it. If you can get a 25% margin in Ohio, then go for it. If you can get a 25% margin in LA, San Diego, Manhattan, Brooklyn, then you go for it. It doesn't matter because you're always working on the margin. Again, which just harkens back to you and Tom. The smartest thing I ever heard was breaking down that gross margin. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get back. This is Robert Jason, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We will be back. It's when that margin disappears is when
you get crushed.
Yep. And I'm telling those guys, 2 guys I talked to in LA, and well, I'll share. It's good content. This place holds the heat.
Sure does.
It's a little
warm.
A little toasty in here.
Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Alright. Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back. Robert and Jason here. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're talking about shifting and consistency and a whole bunch of other things today. So I was explaining that before the break. I have 2 guys in California. One of them, he's a kid to me. He's probably 20 years younger than me, and I learned a lot from him. He's probably in his early 30s, and he's been flipping houses and working with family and friends since he's 13 years old. And he oversaw the 2,600 purchases by the hedge fund.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he has flipped over 3,500 homes.
Jeez.
right? So he's in and out of everything very, very quickly. But even he is having problems in the market. He said, "Hey, the market's done here."
Mm-hmm.
And this is, and he's part of a company that has a massive processing, and I've mirrored our business model on that, and they're done because there's no more margin out there.
Yeah.
Right. So when the margin leaves the market, that's when you leave the market. That's it. Not because it's harder for you. We are still finding deals at 72, 73, 74%, which means the market still bears the margin, the gross margin for us to do our business here. In California, no. In Manhattan, no. In Brooklyn, no. Right? In Chicago, not really.
Yeah.
San Diego, for sure not. Seattle, no. Denver, no. San Francisco Bay Area, forget about it. Right? So where are you going? I hear people talking about Boise, Idaho. I hear people talking about, we used to do like Raleigh-Durham, Jacksonville, Central Florida, and then Southeast and down to South Texas. Big article I read, SpaceX is buying up hundreds and hundreds of homes in Brownsville. Brownsville. They were originally going to do some testing. Now they've switched over. They're going to do more flights, and they need more workers and more facility down there in very, very South Texas. And
Brownsville's on the border of Mexico.
it is literally on the border. Yeah.
The University of Texas at Brownsville
is
literally at the border. Like the Rio Grande runs through the campus. That's how south it is.
And they need to be as close to the equator as possible because the Earth spins faster at the equator, which gives them more velocity at launch.
That's right.
Launch, which is really interesting. I didn't understand until I watched a couple things on it. But I guess, it was either that or Key West, right? And this
is a lot cheaper.
It's a lot
cheaper in Key West.
Unless
Unless NASA's going to sell some facilities, it's a lot cheaper here.
No, so that's what he's doing down there, and a lot of flying in directly. So that market is gone. Like the Reno, Nevada, when they built the Gigafactory, forget it. There was 1,000 houses short out there, and that market flipped. So when the margin leaves the market is when you leave the market. If you're going to a RIA club and there are consistently people in there flipping at 25% gross margin, then you're doing something wrong.
So let's talk about what that looks like. If it's if they're selling a house for $200,000, you need to be making 50 grand.
Yes.
And if you're not making 50 grand net, that's net, by the way. If you're not making $50,000 net, you're going to end up losing money.
Well, I would argue that it's probably a little bit less than that. I'd say 20% net, so 40 grand, yeah. But 40 to 50 grand is where you need to be. So that means you got to be all in about 125, 135,000 on that house.
Absolutely.
And that's what this market is still. And here's how you know what the margin is in the market. You ready? It's the ARV at which the hard money lenders lend.
Oh, that's a good point.
So if they're comfortable at 75% ARV, that means the market's at 75% ARV.
Yeah.
If they're at 70% ARV, which most still are, then that market is bearing 70% ARV deals, left and right.
Yeah.
And the hard money lender feels no need to step up the gap. Doesn't need to go up to 70. So a hard money lender in Southern California will go as high as 82% ARV.
Well, and they're anticipating appreciation on top of
Yes,
that, right?
of course. Yep.
So who knows if that'll come or go.
Well, it's not, right? Everything got flattened in that $1 million market out there, yeah. It's still, someone was talking about Compton the other day. I was like, Compton houses start at $420.
Yeah, since they started building that stadium.
Yeah,
right?
straight out of Compton is $420 at this point. And even closer to the stadium in, I forget the name of the city. But right by the airport there, $700,000 for a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom, 2-bath.
And these are not pretty houses.
Nope, they're old post-war built. They're still doing beige and Navajo white type things out there. It's not sexy at all, but they're getting $700,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inglewood. North Inglewood is
That's right. Yeah.
$750,000 to buy a house in Inglewood.
Yeah, that's
which
nuts.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Best vegan soul food place I've ever come across is in Inglewood.
Vegan soul
food. Oh my god, it was
funny.
good. Wow, it was really good. And the vegan meatball over here in the Heights, I think that's where we go to lunch today. That is fantastic.
Huh. Okay.
Anyway, so when the margin leaves the market is when you leave the market. That's when you leave. That's when you go fish in another pond. If New Jersey is still 70% ARV. That's the hard money guys are at, right? 70% ARV. I'm hearing now that there's probably about half the hard money guys that pushed to 75%,
Okay.
which means that market is getting tighter. Once it goes beyond 75, then you're out.
Yeah.
You're just out by just practicality. So I think when you go to those RIA clubs, you figure out what the hard money guys are lending at is really dictates what the market's at.
That's true.
Yep. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff coming up this year. We talked about your foundations class. I'm working on the project specs and the products for 2020. I'll be doing that today. So I'll have that product out there again. The 2020 design specs looks a lot like 2019. We've switched up a few things. I brought in floor decor.
Okay.
And I found some really good tiles at a little more designer at a very, very good price point. Now, they don't have a rebate program like Home Depot does. They're not kicking me back 2%. But, at this point, we can do a really nice shower inlay for like $100.
Oh, wow.
And maybe 120 with the pencil, so you can do like a stone inlay and pencil it out, make it look really, really nice, and do the niches a different material. So we're adding some of that stuff for our flips and for our Airbnbs.
That's cool.
Yep, I mean the bathrooms down in San Leon for Airbnb were beautiful. The guys did a
They
good
look
job.
great.
Did a really good job. We did the countertop vassal sinks. It came out really, really good, but it was all right on price. This stuff just keeps getting cheaper and cheaper, and for us, when we deal in that B world, that B plus world, you don't need to have the highest end stuff this year. You can buy the second year of the product, because with the second year of the product, everything's down. Like we're getting gray slate tiles right now for 89 cents a square foot, and they're beautiful. Anyway, guys, this is Robert and Jason. This is Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. If you're interested in coming to any of our events, check it out on mrtxre.com. That's our website. It's looking pretty good.
It is looking better.
I'm going to embed a few videos that's coming up this week. Check out our website, or go ahead and text us at 281-401-9008, 281-401-9008. And we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the mastermind, because we're getting lots of inquiries on that. And then I think we can do one segment on the big fund announcement you made last week.
Yes, that'd be great.
All right, guys, this is Robert and Jason, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We will be back.
Was that number 4?
No, we're on like 6.
Oh, yeah? Jeez.
I think I need to share it with more people.
Where are we at there, A-Rock?
Fixing to be on number 7 right now. Recording 7 right now.
Damn. Yeah, it's almost 9. Yeah, this 7:30 a.m. is where it's at.
Yes, I agree.
Just pump this shit out.
And we do have our cleaner coming here at 10. Wake up, everyone. There's a watch party going on. Look at that. What's up, Michael? Kevin? Adam? We're just talking about you.
Alright, you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Ready? Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. This is Robert Orfino, and I'm here with my partner, Jason Bible. We're your hosts. We're part of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. If you need us, if you want to talk to us, if you want to reach out, 281-401-9008. That's 281-401-9008. You can also check out our website at mrtxre.com. That stands for Mr. MR Texas TX Real Estate RE.com. mrtxre.com. Great. So we are off and running on a lot of stuff here. We're doing really well with Mastermind. We brought 2 new folks in this weekend, which is exciting. Both very successful people. One guy's already a private lender. The other one has about 13, 14 doors.
Yeah.
So they have the ability to rapidly progress. So we're very excited about that. But we sent another email out, and we have some folks following up. I think there's probably about 13, 14 people that have inquired this week. So, the questions that keep coming up, the really good questions that we're getting. One of them is, hey, I've already taken all these classes, right? So what's the difference? And for us, it's like there's almost no classes.
Yeah.
Right? The classes are the ones that you make. You basically come to us and say, I need to learn this, and then we sit down and go through it with you, right? And we do that for the entire group. But I think the difference between a mastermind and some of these other training programs or education programs needs to be a little bit more defined. So what's a mastermind to you, Jason?
To me, it's a group of folks who work in a similar industry, who are sharing best practices and challenges that are unique to the folks in that industry.
Yes, and every industry has them.
Right, yeah.
Right, whether they're called societies or
trade groups. That's what a trade group is.
Yes. And so in our world, what happens in this, I'm trying to sort of logically think how it got out of control.
Well, it's the guru space, right?
It's the guru space.
It all started with Think and Grow Rich.
Right.
Because they talk about, hey, you need a mastermind.
Yeah.
A group of folks who...
Right.
Which is totally true. It's just the nomenclature in real estate is a, quote, mastermind.
Right. Jesus and his apostles were a mastermind.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
That's the thing. But I think what happens is it got polluted somewhere in the last 10, 15 years by guys who just saw it as another profit center.
Right.
And so there's this one mastermind that I was invited to that just got super huge, like hundreds and hundreds of people. That's not a mastermind anymore.
Right.
It's a cult.
Yeah.
Right, and people are paying $25,000, $35,000, $50,000 to be a part of this cult, and it wasn't worth it. And then the people came up and said, "Wait, what am I doing? This is crazy, right?" And I've seen masterminds for wholesalers, I've seen masterminds for flippers. And I'm like, that is such a transient business.
Yeah.
Right? That's a really, really hard one. And you've got to be, really, really at the top of your game. So for us, we looked at it and said, wow, this guy's charging 25, this guy's charging 15, this guy's charging 50 for these masterminds. And I'm just not sure what they're getting.
Yeah.
Right? Because it really could be. There's a mastermind up in Dallas that everyone talks about, and we know the guy loves to go up there. But it's just this one guy teaching, right? So it's like 2 days of training versus 2 days of mastermind.
Right.
But he calls it a mastermind, but it's really his soapbox.
Gotcha.
Right? And so I'm like, well, why would you even do that? But they like it. It can become cult-like.
Sure.
Right? And so we looked at it and said, there's no way in heck we're charging anywhere more than $10,000.
Yeah, that didn't
and
make
so
sense.
far our price point has been held at $7,500. And then we have the we won't get into that, but $7,500, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of folks who are doing masterminds are like, wow, why is it so cheap? It's like, because we don't make money from the mastermind, we make money from real estate.
Right. And they're like, wait a second.
Right. Why would you do that,
Why
right?
don't you just make money from the real estate?
You could be charging another $5,000. I'm like, we could be charging another $10,000.
Right.
We get it. What we're saving people on construction, what we save people just on the loans and what we're saving people on acquisitions and all the deals, it pays for itself after one deal.
Yeah.
And so we could do the whole value stack and look at everything you'll save and all these other clever little things, but we're not.
Mm-hmm.
We are legitimately trying to create 250 multimillionaires in the next 5 years.
Yep.
And we're doing that through buying and holding real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got to do. So far, great success from the folks that have been in our mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
We're batting a little over 75% on these guys that are getting these deals done.
Oh, that's a long text message.
Oh boy, that's huge. Anyway, so we're very, very happy. For us, it's focused on buying and holding.
Yeah.
Right. So is there training? Yeah, we've got, I don't know, I think I counted yesterday because I shared the links again. Something like 46 hours of videos.
Mm-hmm.
So you can spend a weekend watching all that stuff. But we'd rather you just do the 12 steps and go into the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we tell the folks who we're looking for, make 6 figures, 700 FICO, have capital to deploy. I get on the phone with a lot of people who don't have that, but want to be part of it. I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's just isn't going to work.
It's not going to work. And they have the $7,500 to join.
Right.
But beyond that, they don't have the capital or the credit score or the 6-figure job. No.
Yeah, what are you going to provide to the mastermind group?
Right. There's nothing here.
Yeah, there's nothing here for
And
you.
you're just going to get very, very frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we've probably turned away as many as we've accepted.
Yeah. Oh, at least. We probably turned away more than
Which is not the guru model, right?
Right.
The guru model is create a payment plan,
Put it on your credit
put
card.
on your credit card, call the credit card company, ask for a little more. We don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like and we're almost beyond the credit card now, so it's like it's a check.
Yeah, just write me a check. I'm tired of paying credit
So
card.
I'm paying 3% on this stuff, so just write us a check, right? So as we move forward in this mastermind, there's some very strong individuals in our group.
Mm-hmm.
Millions and millions of dollars prepared to be executed onto the street, which is very exciting for the folks in the group. A lot of ex-members of other groups, some other cults, they're coming over, and they're like, "Hey, I've got 10 houses. I don't know what to do now."
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Or I bought my 4 and I don't know what to do. I can't
Right,
get any more Fannie Mae loans. I can't qualify for any stuff. It's like, oh well, here's the problem, right? This, and this. So we're able to do that, and we like working with them. And I really want to get to the point where, a good chunk of our time is just working with the 100 people we bring in.
Well, I think as we continue to grow our portfolio, we're going to get to a point where our team is building our portfolio for us, and then we can spend more of our time. All right, guys, how many? Well, and our group is going to grow, right?
Yep.
So I'll be sitting there with the Mr. Texas real estate team going, all right, guys, we need 5 more houses this week. Let's go out there and get them and get them into the hands of our mastermind group.
So if you're interested in joining the mastermind, again, you need a 700 FICO, need about $100,000 W-2 income, and you need capital to deploy. The lowest I'd say to deploy is probably $40K.
Yeah.
That's about it. But that'll get you a duplex.
Mm-hmm.
That'll get things moving, and then we can figure out how we can create more revenue. It's really, really important to have those resources or you get frustrated. And it's not a profit center for us, so we're not out there desperately taking your mastermind money. We just want to see you be successful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll be back. Catherine, if you're watching, just put it on the Mr. Texas real estate card. Get all 3 done today. Hard dues are due.
Oh, hard dues. Oh, lovely.
Guys, we're watching on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, we are recording our radio show. We appreciate you guys hanging out and watching with us. If you've watched the video, please like, love, and share. That'd be great. Any questions you have, we're free to go. We'll answer this period. I think I'm pretty active on my feed. No, want to keep it going. How many is this, Aaron?
This is gonna be number 8 right now.
Great. What was it we're gonna do?
We're doing fun stuff. This guy's actually asking me a fun question right now.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Fun. Yes.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, all live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Robert and Jason here. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're part of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. If you guys are looking for any help, what you're working on, 281-401-9008. So, Jason, we made a little shift this week on the fund,
We sure did.
and that's going to take place January 1st. So we have to get the documents filed by then. It's not going to be a problem. But we've added another bonus on here. We had a conversation with an investor, and they basically said, hey, I think this would be better and probably more fair if you did this. And we agreed.
We said, well, let me take a look. Let me run some numbers
Yeah,
here.
we were okay with it.
So the big announcement is the fund has pretty close to 1-to-1 equity. So for every dollar we raise in capital, there's a dollar in equity
Yep.
in the fund. And so when we thought, well, why don't we distribute some of that equity whenever we sell any of these assets? And so that's what we're going to do. So it's a 9% preferred return.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also going to get 10%, investors in the fund are going to get 10% of the equity in the underlying assets. So if you look at a 5% a year appreciation plus the equity that we have at the time of purchase, it's about a 14 to 15% per year return.
So this is a 506c fund. It's regulated by the SEC and the Security Exchange Commission in the state of Texas. It is for accredited investors only.
Yep.
So to be accredited, you have to have $200,000 income as an individual, $300,000 as a household, or $1 million in assets, not including your primary residence.
Right.
And that's the equity and all that stuff. Which, by the way, we now do.
Yeah, we got plenty of
Yeah,
that.
we're
But it's only on paper.
only on paper. And I believe they're $50,000 a unit. I think it's either 50 or 25. We'll take a look. Most people are coming in over 6 figures. And it's 9% preferred, and now we are adding a 10% equity kicker or waterfall, whatever you want to call it, that projects out the fund to be somewhere around 14%.
So if you look at year one, and I don't have, actually, did you just?
Yeah,
put it
so
up
there's
here?
instant equity that's going to happen because
So-
we already have almost $400,000 in equity in the properties.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to pull it up, but
Yep.
I don't have the Excel document sitting in front of me. But year one is actually projected at 18%.
Right.
This is assuming we don't add any assets to the fund over the next 5 years, which is totally not going to be the case.
Right.
But year
So we have
one,
that much equity in there.
yeah, we got. That's not the sheet I'm looking for.
Hmm.
But if you look at year one, with the equity we already have, and about 5% a year appreciation. Now, I've gotten a couple emails on 5% a year appreciation. We don't buy assets. This is an affordable housing model.
Mm-hmm.
We're buying the Class D asset. I mean, this is ugly stuff. This is really ugly stuff. And we are taking it to a Class C, B minus.
Yeah. There's very few B minuses and mostly C, C pluses,
Yeah.
but they're in markets that are appreciating.
Yeah. We're buying the bottom of the market
Right.
in a marketplace. That's why I say 5% a year is very conservative.
Well, let me give you 2 examples. Does
Okay.
anyone not think that a house that we bought for $80,000, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Katy, is going to appreciate?
Yeah, I think it's going to appreciate a little bit.
Right? How about Texas City?
Yeah.
Right? We've got a number of properties in Texas City, Baytown, Stafford, these other places that make a lot of sense. I'd say, legitimately, we probably have 3 units that are in areas that we may or may not see that 5%. I think
Yeah.
the Corpus duplex,
Yep.
and Galveston.
Yeah.
So may not see that 5%, but for sure,
I think the other one's going to see
6,
7,
7,
8, 9,
yeah,
10,
that's so we're
Texas City's at like what, 12%?
It was 11% one year, and then 9%, I believe, last year. So and there's just, you can see it because all sub $100,000 houses are now off the market.
Yeah, here's a good way to do it. If you guys don't believe in appreciation, just look and see how many houses are below $100,000.
Right.
And then bump your parameters up from 100,000 to 150. There's virtually nothing out there below $150,000.
Which is the market that we're buying.
Exactly. Those are the markets we play in.
We're looking at that current ARV to be somewhere between 140 and 180, and we want to buy them as deep as possible.
So let's say we're into a house at Katy for $100,000.
110.
It appreciates to $150,000.
It appreciated at 165 at the time of the refi.
Yeah. So it being
$55,000.
$55,000 in equity, 10% of that will go back to the fund
Yes.
at the time of sale.
Yes. Now, what will typically happen is the ARV, the fair market price, will trigger the sale.
Yeah.
Based on taxes and a whole bunch of other things.
So the way our fund works is we either hit a certain asset target price in the fund, meaning it's appreciated to, let's say, $1 million. Like our JVs and our Airbnbs, we know when they hit $1 million, we just sell them.
We're out.
Right?
Yeah.
We're out. In our fund, it's when they no longer cash flow.
Yeah. Reasonable cash flow.
Reasonable cash flow. And that means, why would they no longer cash flow? Because taxes and insurance have gotten so high, it's eaten up any of the remaining cash flow. So it's time to sell.
So then we liquidate and we give 10% of that to
the folks in the fund.
So that was pretty exciting, and I'm glad we could come to that conclusion earlier this week and crunch the numbers and walk through it, and we feel pretty comfortable that we can. You and I can still make some money on this, you know, so the way it works is getting into the minutia here.
Yeah.
We run this fund at a 20% cash on cash.
Mm-hmm.
That's our target. Right now it's at 21%.
Mm-hmm.
So we can raise a little bit more than we need, but we're not, right? So we need, I think, another 300,000 or so.
Yeah.
Once we raise that 300, we close the fund. We transition, we reacquire, we put more properties in, and then we open up again so that we can get the long-term financing in place. So it's unlike anything that I have ever seen or anyone else. A lot of people have not seen it. We already own the assets. They're already there's three stages, right? They're rehab, they're renting, and they're transitioning to long-term financing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're already have the problem. It's not as though the money sits there waits to be deployed.
Yeah. So in most funds, what happens is they raise a bunch of money and they start chasing down deals.
Yes.
Which is the exact opposite. That's the wrong way to do it.
No. So we already have these deals. They're being either rehabbed, they're being rented, or they're into long-term financing mode. And once we raise another 300-something thousand, whatever it is, we will be able to shut the fund down, transition that stuff, get it all cash flowing, pull the money out that needs to be pulled out, and go do it again.
Yep.
And so this fund started with seed capital from Jason and I.
Yeah.
Right? And a few loans, a few private loans, but mostly it's our money that's sitting in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we bring in investors to take our money out so we can keep going and doing it again. I think we're at $3 million in assets right now, a little bit more. Let me check the actual number.
That sounds about right.
And then what will happen is we will be able to, probably run this thing out to
I don't know. We're buying
15, 20 million.
We're buying 10 mil.
Yeah, we're 3.7 million right now. So I would assume we're going to get this thing over the next 5 years to $25, $30 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Goals to buy $25 million of real estate next year, and half of that's going to end up in the fund.
Yeah, so we're really excited about it. If you're an accredited investor and you are interested in learning more about the fund, let us know. 281-401-9008. Jason sent an email out to about 25,000 people last night, so respond to the email. We're tons of responses.
We got a ton of responses already. I will get to you guys when I can.
But here's it. Like, we have a call with someone at 10 o'clock this morning. This is first come, first serve. It's not an open-ended raise.
Yeah, this isn't we're going to raise $30 million and all that. It's first come, first serve.
We've got to go. And if some of you are like, hey, I'll look at it in January, that's great. We appreciate that. We might be looking at some other opportunities with us. So, again, Robert and Jason here, Mr. Texas Real Estate Team. And we're on tonight on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back.
All right, that was the last one, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Hey, Rock, stick around for a little bit. I think I want to get some coffee because I'm getting dizzy and tired here.
Yeah.
And I got to pee. Thank you, Facebook, for hearing that. But I have, We got to come back in and record those 3.5 minute outs.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in and.
The in is the rated is they're already doing the in. It's the out.